I wanted to see interview with him because recently he said some weird shit.
Pleasure to introduce Alex Carr.
So
I want to just start off on something more intimate between he and I. I'm pretty proud of what I created at BlackRock, but my total return since I've been a CEO is only compounded at 21%.
okay,
Since Alex and Palantir went public, his compounded return is 73%. So congratulations,
okay.
Alex. But more importantly, we're in the middle of a profound technological shift. I think we all are hearing about it, reading about it, feeling it, being a part of it.
Yeah,
And everybody's asking the question, what can AI do for me, or how can I translate it? What can it do for growth? What can it do for workers? What can it do for national security? We are talking about it, that it has the potential to grow capacity, to modernize industries, expand opportunity. It also will transform how we worked and where we work and how we work. And
I just be
the
skipping.
question is, have often been early adapters of advanced technology. And I think we're seeing that really very, very intimately in the United States. But from your perspective, how is AI supporting decision-making in defense and security?
Well, first of all, delighted to be here. And with that introduction, maybe I should just stop. It's good downhill from here. Would you like to talk about our returns some more? And I'll just,
It's just time. I've been public now 26 years.
I think one of the things to remember, like the backdrop of your question, I think is though you have in America, and I would say also in Europe, historically, industrial development and military technology were obviously co-linked, and is a general advantage on a battlefield, especially if combined with your way of fighting. And you saw this. There was a very famous socialist German historian who was said, well, one of the problems Germany had was the warfighting machine was so good that they just said, well, we'll decide on the battlefield who's right. And that led to obviously lots of disjunctions and real problems. In the American context,
This guy controls the biggest company. Yeah.
And I would say there you have a dislocation between what has happened recently in America, constraints under which you have to fight, even though that's not the optimal way to fight, and you have very specialized ways of fighting in each country. But
Well,
with almost all, in one form or another, that are broadly defined as that would be it could deal with a company that's American. The actual technological rigor of the enterprises has significant holes in it.
wow, this is the most dragged answer. What's the answer?
Yeah. And like, for example, like the modern,
around.
if you just take Ukraine as an example, just to make it empirical, that is the goal of every single military intelligence service. In fact, all these intelligence services and militaries have their own specialization.
Presumably you'll have
Much faster, and then the
outcomes.
nurses, the nurses and doctors are also happier. And yeah.
So you suggested that for companies to rapidly adopt it, they have to, the best way to do it is going private, then they could.
But now it does work. And so now the question isn't, does it work? But how can we get it to work for my country? And this is exactly what's happening.
Is AI going to create jobs or destroy jobs overall?
All right, this is a good question.
Yeah, I think one of the unfortunate things of the narrative in the West is it will destroy humanity's jobs of, like, you went to an elite school and you studied philosophy. Use myself as an example.
I did too.
Yeah, hopefully you have some other skill. That one is going to be hard to market.
And it was always hard to market.
It was hard to market, very hard.
It was a good education.
A very, very strong education. If you can get a job, you might keep it. But that's what I always thought. It was like, if I finally get a job, I'll probably keep it and do well, but I'm not sure who's going to give me my first job. But like technicians,
Yeah.
if you're a vocational technician, or we're building batteries for a battery company, and the people who are doing it in America are doing roughly the same job that Japanese engineers are doing, and they went to high school. And now they're very valuable, if not irreplaceable, because we can make them into something different than what they were very rapidly. And those jobs are going to become more valuable. I mean, you know, I do not to diverge into my usual political screeds, but will be more than enough jobs for the citizens of your nation, especially those with vocational training. I do think these trends really do make it hard to imagine why we should have large-scale immigration unless you have a very specialized skill. Because
What about the foundation for white-collar work in Europe and the United States has been through the universities. What I just heard you say, we're going to need more vocational men and women, and they're going to be, but are you also insinuating we're probably going to need less white-collar?
I think what we need to do is, yes, but I think we need different ways of testing aptitude. You know, it's like, you know, there are a lot of people doing X that should be doing Y. Like if you could manage one of our systems, like just the person managing our Maven system in the US Army is a former police officer who I think went to a junior college. And they're doing very, very high-end, very complicated targeting globally. And that person actually is irreplaceable. And I think in the past, the way we tested for aptitude would not have fully exposed how irreplaceable that person's talents are. And would they have been as talented if they had not gone to their college? Yes. But I think I tend to, even inside Palantir, if you look at inside Palantir, what am I really doing all day? I'm walking around figuring out what is someone's outlier aptitude. And then I'm putting them on that thing and trying to get them to stay on that thing and not on the 5 other things they think they're great at. Like, you know,
Keeping their,
yeah, it's like, well, you know, everyone at Palantir, every engineer at Palantir, it's the most, wherever I go in the world, like for as you know, maybe for 18 years, everyone thought we were like a business joke. And now lots of business people want my advice. You know, the only people who don't want my advice at Palantir about business are Palantir engineers. They're like, hey, Alex, I have an idea about how we could just be in a much better company. And it's always like, yeah, it's like literally McDonald's, but it's like, we should have some titles and you should stop speaking in public. And yeah, and then, I mean, there's probably right about speaking in public sometimes. I certainly admit that.
I don't think you did anything wrong today.
Yeah. So, yeah, thank you for that high praise.